Hello everyone and welcome to A Study in Gray. Today we're going to be talking about makeup. Today we are going to be discussing my makeup favorites in terms of eyeshadow. We're going to be talking about my favorite eyeshadow palettes, and I'm super excited to share with you guys what I personally love and what are some of my favorites. So without further ado, let's get started. The first palette I'd like to discuss is the one I actually used for today's look. And today's look was done with the new Nude palette by Huda Beauty. This palette is absolutely stunning. It has 4 multi-reflective shadows, 10 buttery mattes, 2 pressed glitters, 1 pressed pearl, and 1 concealer base. I think that it's very well balanced. I think that you can create a lot of looks with this palette, and I absolutely adore the color scheme. It is all variations of pinks, and it gives a new sense to the color, in the sense that you can use it as a nude, you can use it when you're going out, you can use it in a lot of ways, and so I love this palette. I also love the formula. The formula is wonderful because it is talc-free, which I personally like. I find that when makeup has talc, it gets a little powdery for my taste, but this goes on very smooth, very buttery. There is very little to no fallout. There is fallout with the glitter, obviously, but what eyeshadow that is glittery doesn't have fallout? So that is why I love that palette, is because it is just consistent in its formula. It's got beautiful colors, and overall, I think that it's just a winner in terms of color scheme and the formula. The formula is great. Next, we have Too Faced. We have the Just Peachy Mattes palette. This palette has 12 shades, and this palette is all mattes. I think it's absolutely stunning. I love the bright and vibrance of this palette. I think it livens up any look you do, and I really love the colors of Fresh Picked. I love the Peach Cobbler, and of course I love Peach Sangria. I love that color. This is one of my favorite colors I have in my collection at all. And of course, this smells like peaches, which is just a whole nother level of wonderful, and I just adore it for that. Next palette we have is also by Too Faced, which is Sweet Peach. This peach palette also does smell like peaches, but I think the color scheme is a little different. I think that the color scheme is very unique. I really enjoy the brightness of it and the versatility. I definitely can see people making so many different looks using so many different combinations with this palette. I personally think the color scheme is great for summer, and my favorites in this palette would have to be the White Peach, Luscious, Bellini, and Caramelized. I love those colors, and a lot of them that I love the most are the shimmers, because the shimmers in that palette go on so smooth and buttery and creamy, and there is very little fallout, if any, because of the way that it's shimmery and not glittery. And also, it's very pigmented, and so you don't find yourself having to add on a ton, but it is yet still buildable. So overall, Too Faced is definitely a winner in my books. Next, we have the Tartelette Tarte palette. This palette has 12 shades, and I absolutely adore Tarte products. Products by Tarte are some of my favorites. This palette is all nudes, but they have like a little warmth to them, a very earthy warmth tone, and they are all matte. These are the Amazonian clay mattes, and I love these. I love when you're doing a crisp look, how mattes look. So for that reason, this is one of my big winners, and I absolutely adore it. And of course, it's just, again, the formula is great, and in addition to the formula, it overall is just very pigmented and easy to blend. That's the biggest thing, is I find myself making the blends very seamless, and I really enjoy that. Next, we have the Tartelette in Bloom palette by Tarte, which also has 12 shades. And this one has, as you can see, It has some beautiful tones to it. I absolutely live for this palette. I love the Flower Child, the Funny Girl. I love Sweetheart. Those are all different shades of pink in this palette. But I also love the more neutral brown tones in it, like Rocker and Firecracker. Next, we're going to move on to one of my favorites, which is pinks and purples, and that is seen a lot in the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. This palette is absolutely stunning. I love this eyeshadow palette. I don't even know what to say other than she is absolutely stunning. As you can see, oops, as you can see, she's absolutely stunning. And I love all the shades. It's so easy to make a beautiful look with this. You can make anything with pinks and purples or red tones, and it's just a very warm palette without being overpowering. Naked Heat I enjoy a lot by Urban Decay, but I feel like sometimes the oranges and the reds overpower my face and kind of take away from the rest of my makeup or even my outfit, whereas this I feel like can be very subtle and gentle, or it can be very bold and statement making. And I really like that versatility in this palette. Another thing is I like to blend colors from the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette and colors from the Huda Beauty A New Nude palette. They both are pinks, and I think they go beautifully together. They blend together really nicely, and it can create a very beautiful eye look as well. Next is also by Urban Decay, and it is the Born to Run palette. I love this palette. It is one of my go-tos whenever I'm traveling, not just because of the beautiful box, but just because I feel like it is meant to be for someone who is on the go. It is meant for someone who needs one palette to do it all, one palette to do as many looks as you possibly can, and I feel like this palette definitely delivers that. This palette is absolutely stunning. It's very versatile, and the colors are very, very diverse, which I really like. It has 21 shades, and I just think that this palette is absolutely gorgeous, and I love the colors within it. My favorites have to be, I love Stranded, I love Guilt Trip, and one that I like to play with, but not really wear on the outside, is probably Big Sky, which is this green in the corner. And I like to come up with little accent colors in my looks, and sometimes that's one I go for. Next we have by Morphe and Jaclyn Hill, the Bling Boss Eyeshadow Palette. This one is 10 shades. And it is absolutely stunning. It is all purples, and I really like this because the purples are muted, which means you can put them with anything, and then you do have a few vibrant purples if you want to liven up your look. Morphe has a great formula. I've always enjoyed their stuff. Morphe does a great job at making sure everything is pigmented, everything is easy to blend, everything is very buildable, and overall it just is a very great product. I love Morphe makeup in general, whether it's lipstick or whether it is eyeshadow. Morphe definitely takes the cake for me. It's one of my favorites. So of course, the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe is also in my favorites drawer. This palette is absolutely wonderful. It is so beautiful. It is so vibrant. It is so different. And there's so many different looks you can do with it, and I think that they did a great job on the formula. I think they did a great job at coming up with really unique colors that still, despite their uniqueness, work on the everyday, and I really appreciate that. And lastly is my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette, which I didn't know it was going to be. It actually came out in spring of 2019. It is the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. It's still in the box because I always put it back in the box after I use it because I love it that much. It's like my baby. I love this palette. As you can see, it is absolutely stunning. Not just in its look, but in its color scheme. It has all the nudes, all the pinks, and then it has some vibrant, different colors as well, like this peacock blue and this fuchsia in the corner. It just has a very unique appearance and I really enjoy it. It's my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette. I love using it on the daily. I love using it when I go out places, and overall it has a great formula. It's fantastic. It's greatly pigmented. It's really easy to blend. It's great to build. It blends really well with other products as well. And of course, there's very little to no fallout even on the shimmers, which to me makes it a home run. So that is my makeup eyeshadow collection of my favorites. That's not all of it, it's just my favorites, but thank you so much and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe and let me know what you want to see next. Thanks so much. Bye.